you know, on the show yesterday, we reported on a story that became official today that is radio broadcasting history. The Cleveland Browns have made it official that they are switching flagship radio stations to two rival sports stations here in Cleveland, plus another FM. So Jim Donovan's going to be here, there, and everywhere. As a result, I wanted to invite these two gentlemen to join us on the show to explain this historical moment in broadcasting history. Joining us is Andy Roth. He is the program director of 92.3 The Fan, WKRK-FM, and Keith Williams, who is vice president and general manager of ESPN 850 WKNR. Gentlemen, welcome, and I'm in awe.
Well, thanks. It's the idea.
Yeah.
First question. I have to assume, as long as I've been in the business, as soon as you guys realized the Browns' rights were up, they have been on the Clear Channel property here for many years, WTAM radio. You individually, as properties, had to seek out the Browns. Am I correct on that?
Well, the idea was that the Browns were looking for a partnership, and they gave both, and I believe Clear Channel, the idea of where the rights needed to go, what we needed to do to secure them. And once we saw the list, it was pretty easy that there was not one thing that we could do to grab them, and we had to do a partnership.
Yeah, basically, Bruce, we looked at the RFP and we said, well, we have no chance. And I think they looked at the RFP and said, well, we don't have an AM, and we said we don't have an FM, so why not call each other? And that's what we did, and that's where we are today. We figured it out.
So when you realize that individually, because WKNR is a powerful 50,000 watt signal in the daytime, that's where Gene and I worked before the formation of SportsTime Ohio, but you have to cut power at dusk.
Correct.
And 92.3 The Fan is an excellent FM signal, but quite frankly, if I'm on 71 going south and I pass Medina toward Lodi's, I start getting static. Mm-hmm. So that's where it comes in as the combination, plus your other FM station, which is WNCX, is at 98.5, Andy?
Correct.
And that is covering the signal when dusk occurs, and certainly the AM and the FM combo comes in.
Well, the whole idea of the triple cast is that you have so many options of getting the games now. And with NCX, that signal is one of the best in the market, but it's a heritage thing. Rock and roll is the way that people get ready for Browns games along with sports talk. So it's going to be a natural fit for Browns fans to get the games.
When did these negotiations start?
They started late last year, so probably in that October-November time frame, and we met a number of times, put our plan together, and here we are today.
Did you deal with this new man that Haslam brought in? Is his name Shiner, Mr. Shiner?
Yes. Yes.
So he apparently came from Dallas, did he not?
Correct.
And did something the coverage, I know it wasn't a historical like two rival stations going against one another, but the coverage was as extensive in Dallas.
Yeah, it's a CBS radio station that owns the rights down there, and one of the items that they do down there is an HD3 channel that is exclusively Cowboys programming. And one thing that CBS Radio will be doing is creating a 24/7 Browns channel. They'll have some archived Browns games, some new programming, and it'll be all Browns information for fans.
Now, I want you to realize this. This is unprecedented. Again, I've been around the block a few times in this business. This is unprecedented. And even before all sports radio stations became the norm in this country. I mean, when I first came to Cleveland, the only sports talk show host was Pete Franklin. I was brought here for the purpose of challenging Pete Franklin. There was no sports stations at all. And as you know, they emerged in a market. Now there's 3, 4. Here in Cleveland, we have 2. But in those days, you had the 50,000 watt clears like the TAMs, the JRs, the KMOXs, the WGNs that didn't exclusively do sports, but they did all kinds of programming and had the rights to the teams.
Right.
But that's why this is so important, that sports radio is what the Browns chose to go with. They understand that their fans need to have the latest information, and sports radio has grown to such an important part of the Cleveland sports scene, and I think national sports scene too, that fans made the call that they listen to sports radio. Brown said, we need to be on there, and that's why they chose the triple cast.
Now, this morning, when this was announced on both stations, both properties had their shows in Berea at the Browns headquarters, side by side. And Gene looked it up on the internet and showed me a picture of Kylie and Booms on 92.3 and Riz and Company on WKR. And I looked at that and I said, "You gotta be kidding."
It's great, isn't it?
Again,
Yeah.
now I've seen everything in this business.
Yeah, but I mean, we already exist. It doesn't matter where you're broadcasting from. I mean, we've been in existence for 19 months, and we know where KNR is, and they know where we are. We're two separate radio stations, two separate brands, but we're making sure that all the Browns fans get everything, including the game.
Yeah, and Bruce, you know how passionate the sports fans are in this town. And, you know, there's plenty of room for both of us. There's probably more people listening to sports talk radio in this town now than there ever has been before. And we're just providing more and more content. This Browns, relationship is expansive. There's going to be tons and tons of hours of programming. So if you're a Browns fan, we've got you covered.
Now, I made a couple of calls to WTAM, and they would not give a comment. I have heard that a big snag was the Browns Daily Show that airs on WKNR from 6 to 7 with
Correct.
Vic Carucci.
Correct.
And the Browns wanted to expand that to a 2-hour program. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That show will air on WKNR, I understand, from
Correct.
1 until 3 in the afternoon. My question has got to be, are you blowing Rome off the air?
First of all, we have not confirmed or denied if Cleveland Browns Daily is going from 1 to 3. It is expanding to 2 hours, but there are a number of things in this partnership that we need to get figured out. That happens to be one of them, exactly where it's going to land and exactly what it's going to be. But yes, the show will be expanding to 2 hours.
If it expands to 2 hours and you put it in the 1 to 3, theoretically, that is the end of Rome on KNR, right?
Not necessarily.
Where are you going to put it then?
They'll just have to wait and see what we do. It's the suspense of radio.
Rome has been an institution in this market for a long time.
We love Jim Rome.
Why the pregame? Now, let me ask you this. I understand pregame will be on KNR.
Correct.
Postgame on 92.3.
That's right.
You're not doing a pregame?
Well, we're producing the 9 hours of game broadcast out of CBS Radio, and it's a continual process that we're going to do to refine the broadcasts and make them better day by day by day. But we, as two radio stations, have to provide the best ones, and the Browns partnered with us to make sure it's going to happen.
I mean, you were both doing pre-games and post-games without the rights to the Browns.
The real easy way to explain this, I guess, is there's official programming, Browns official programming, then there's Browns unofficial programming. They'll have a pregame show. We will have the 4-hour network official Browns pregame show. All 3 stations will have the games, and then CBS will have the network official post-game show, and we'll have our own post-game show.
Because I'm sure TAM will still do a pregame and post-game show, just like you guys were doing a pregame and post-game show before you got the rights.
Well, it's what Browns are in this town. If you are a station that wants to connect with the sports fans, you're going to go where the sports fans are, and that's with the Browns.
Let me ask you this. How is the advertising going to work on this? That has got to be a sticky part of these negotiations, is it not?
We figured it out. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. If there's a game to be broadcast, we'll figure out a way to advertise. It's that simple. We'll figure out a way to air the advertising. It was not that hard.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's a winner in this partnership. So that's all I can say. We can't get into specifics, and I'm sure you can understand that.
But I still have to ask, Keith, please. I want to ask you this too. I've explained to the fans that Clear Channel, and I think this is terrible for our business, but by the way, on the radio side, now I'm on TV, but In radio, Clear Channel has bought up clusters of stations in every major market in this country. They're a conglomerate that is like no other. And what it's done is it has destroyed, at least in the major markets, and most of the medium markets too, it has destroyed the mom and pop AM, FM, independent ownership in many circumstances.
I disagree with that. I think that every operator does what they want to do. And if that was the case, then there wouldn't be a KNR right now. And CBS Radio, which owns lots of different stations with lots of different formats, does their own thing. And we found a way to partner to make sure that we're going to bring what the sports fans of Cleveland deserve, which is quality sports programming.
Well, you are owned, your station is owned by CBS,
Right.
where you are an affiliate. You're not owned by ESPN. You're
Correct.
independently owned, but you're an affiliate of
Correct.
ESPN, right, Keith?
Correct.
Yes, but Andy, you can't.
I'm not going to speak for Clear Channel, but I think that we
but-
do a pretty good job of bringing what we need to do to the radio.
Right, but Andy, you cannot argue the fact that when I was getting into this business, there was no conglomerates. It was all AM, FM, mom and pops.
Right.
And that's a thing of the past.
Okay, but sports radio has thrived since then, and it's because different providers have said this is what we need to do with the format to make it succeed, and we're doing it.
Let me ask you this. Because of what I just explained to the fans about the Clear Channel conglomerates, they have every Major League team, NFL team, NBA team, they have built a network of affiliates. So you have the Cantons and the Youngstowns and the Mansfields and the Marions and the Sandusky's, et cetera, that are affiliates to the flagship station. Many of the affiliates in the Browns network previously are Clear Channel properties. Are you going to lose them?
Well, the Browns are running the affiliate network, so we'll certainly help them out where we can when we need to. So we have a few months to get that figured out, and it's definitely part of the plan.
It's a nasty business.
Well, I can tell you that there were a couple stations that called my boss directly as soon as they heard the news, and there's another one that is interested that contacted me. So we're going to give that information to the Browns, and the Browns are going to take care of it. But their job also is to make sure their voice is heard, and we'll help them any way we can.
This I do not know. Does the powers that be at such a powerhouse conglomerate, do they have the authority to tell an affiliate to stop being an affiliate?
That's on the Browns. That's not on us. And I don't think.
Do you know that, Keith?
I have no idea. I mean, we're a small radio operator. We own 12 radio stations, and that's it.
Yeah,
right.
So
But that's a possibility, is it not?
I have no idea.
Oh, I don't think so. I think
no
it's they want to get the games out. Whoever brings the best idea to the table, they're going to get the games. But that's the Browns who are going to take care of that. Not us.
Right. Well, we'll see. I want to look at those. We get calls from all those markets,
Sure.
so we'll keep an eye on it. Now, here's another question. How about marketing and promotion? How are you going to handle that in your separate companies?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I mean, each of us are going to have different assets that we'll be able to market and promote. Those guys will have stuff. We'll have stuff. The Browns will want stuff. So it's all about getting the right piece of information and fun and promotions in the hands of our fans, and they're sports fans, and they're from Northeast Ohio. They love the Browns. It's going to be a great time. We're looking forward to it.
And start with today. You don't have two radio stations who don't sit under the same roof in the same place very often. And we're going to do things that are a little different to make sure people know where the games are and what's available.
Now, NCX is simply there for the game day coverage because that's a music format.
Yeah, their triple cast part of the broadcast is going to be the game only.
All right, now, I'm buddies with many of your employees on the air. Obviously, Riz and I go way back.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, I go back with his father, Jack Reynolds, the late, great Jack Reynolds. I worked with at Channel 43. And Riz in that show is, I would say it's the marquee show on your station. And Riz doesn't rock the boat. I mean, he's a pro's pro who tells it like it is, but he doesn't rock the boat. But the marquee show on 92.3 The Fan is another good friend of mine, and that's Chuck Booms. And Kylie and Booms is an extremely controversial hotbed show. Have you had to say something to him, or did the Browns say something to you to, shall I say, curb the criticism?
No, I mean, if the Browns have something that we have a problem with, we're going to say it. We have to be fair about it, just like we have been with the previous regime, but we're going to do the same thing that we've done so far.
So we won't be able to detect any change if Chuck goes off on a tangent, if
No.
Whedon's throwing 5 interceptions?
No.
Okay, all right. Now, the other thing, too, for the benefit of the fans, I heard something like you guys are going to provide annually together like 1,000, what is it, 1,000 hours?
Over 1,000 hours of Browns official programming. That's correct.
Yes.
Between the two of us. It's exciting.
And that includes the draft. That includes the best of the Daily Show that's going to air on 92.3 on Saturday mornings. We've tried to make sure that Browns fans know where to get the programming, and there's such an appetite for it in this town. It was an easy decision to make.
I thought these guys would be coming in here ready to duke it out, which would have been great for our ratings. But no. I'm telling you, this is unprecedented, historic announcement that we have seen here in Cleveland today, with these two rival sports radio stations becoming partners, so to speak, in broadcasting the Browns game starting in 2013. And I guess with Banner and Haslam aboard and the excitement of the new regime, it's an all-new beginning, huh?
Yeah, it's great.
Do you think this will set a precedent around the country? This has never been done before.
We have no idea.
Well, we don't know if it's going to set a new precedent. We know we have set one, and we've gotten calls. I don't know if you have
I was
today.
just going to ask you, are you getting calls from all over the nation?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to.
Lot of congratulations, and how'd you do it, and
why you're doing
and
it.
why, yeah.
Right.
It's been fun. It's been a great project, and we're looking forward to the season starting.
Well, I congratulate you. I never thought I'd see it in a million years, but here it is. And now if only the team will cooperate, huh?
That's right.
Well, let's hope so. All right, Andy, good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Keith, thank you for coming in.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it
Appreciate
very
it.
much. And Keith Williams and Andy Roth from the Rivals that will be broadcasting our Cleveland Browns starting in the fall with the 2013 season. More to come with you until 6 on All Bets Are Off.